Well, blessed morning to you. Thanks for dropping by. The team has been as busy as a bee. Up to no good, trying to present this whole ordeal. So let's stop beating around the bush and let's get down to business and get this whole thing sorted out. Now, language is a pie in the sky, but let's not work in a fog around this thing. As many things this has, we'll try to stay on track. I bet you felt a little bit confused, right?
Maybe you didn't understand the ideas in the sentence mentioned before, or maybe the ideas are not fully understandable because the sentences are composed in its majority of idioms.
But do you know what an idiom is? Well, maybe some of you know what an idiom is, or maybe some of you don't. But don't worry, if you don't understand this, here we are going to explain you. According to Odell and McCartney, idioms are fixed combinations of words whose meaning is often difficult to guess from the meaning of each individual word. Also, we have some examples for you of some common idioms in English. An example of an idiom is, "We'll cross that bridge when we get there," and its meaning is, "We'll solve the problem when the time comes." Also, we have another one, "She lets things get out of the hand," and its meaning is, "She lets things get out of control." Now that you already know what an idiom is, it's time to know their types. We have the transparent idioms and also the opaque idioms. The transparent idioms are those easy to decode with minimal contextual cues, while the opaque ones provide few or no cues as their meaning. Surprise, right? Let me illustrate this by the following example.
And what are you going to do on vacations?
I don't know, I want to work, and actually I have a job interview today, but...
If you don't go to that job interview, you're gonna miss the bus.
You're right.
To illustrate this type of idiom, let's see the next example.
Guess what, Anita? Miss Data told us that you're going to fail the class. I'm so
What?
sorry.
But why?
Don't believe her. She's just pulling your leg.
Idiomatic usage of language are very common in English.
Idioms are everywhere. As Odell and McCartney stated in their English Idioms in Use Advanced book, you will need to be able to understand a lot of idioms if you want to read English fiction, newspapers, or magazines. TV shows.
Maybe. What is your report on?
The mafia.
Perfect. We do a paper mache Tommy gun.
Oh no, we shouldn't have to jazz it up.
Okay, then we go upstairs and...
Films.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
And songs.
So it's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down in flames. You can tell me when it's over. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess.
As the previous example showed. Did you notice how important it is to teach them? In case it didn't convince you, let me tell you that you will also sound more natural and fluent if you can use idioms in everyday conversation. For example, for humor or to comment on yourselves, other people, and situations. No language teacher can afford to ignore idioms or idiomaticity if a natural use of the target language is an aim. Learning idioms is certainly not a piece of cake.
Very easy.
But once you know them, they can be a lot of fun. And anyway, because American people use idioms non-stop, you will be all at sea
Totally
in
confused.
most conversations until you learn the ropes.
Understood how things work.
According to Mesa and Current, since vocabulary and culture are intertwined, speakers can gain more vocabulary through idioms and conversely. and learn more about idioms from being exposed to the target culture. But how can teachers teach idioms? Helping students acquire idioms has long been a challenge to language educators and researchers alike. One of the issues to consider in idiom teaching is which idioms to teach.
According to Liu, many English idiom teaching and reference materials exist from language learners. Yet the selection of idioms in these publications often reflects primarily the author's intuition rather than empirical data, and a substantial number of them are rarely used. These materials cover many seldom used idioms but fail to cover some frequently used ones. That's why it's important to keep in mind that learners should learn to use the most useful and common idioms rather than the ones the teacher considers pretty and interesting. To avoid these intuitions, it is necessary to look for real data. Corpus linguistics helps to make this possible by providing the most frequent idioms. Let's review some of the most frequent idioms on the following list provided by the research made by Liu based on the three contemporary spoken American English corpora: the Professional American English, the Michigan Corpus of Academic Spoken English, and the Spoken American Media English.
The use of very common and identifiable items can be appreciated in Band A, with examples such as kind of, figure out, and in general. In Band B, however, less common items come up, for example take care of, take back to, and take over. Band C, in the yet other hand, has way less common items like by virtue of, err on the side of, and off the top of my head.
As we have talked along this video, we can restate that idioms are phrases or expressions that convey a meaning which cannot be derived from the meaning of its elements. Also, we know that there are two types of idioms: transparent and opaque. Transparent idioms are easy to decode, while opaque require more information.
Now you know why it's important to know idioms and why to teach them, why intuition must be avoided and instead real data must be used. Also remember that you have corpora to find the most frequent idioms. And since we don't want to keep beating around the bush, we'll stop here by saying, thanks for watching.